Welcome to the Taproxy Method, creating confident learners. The Taproxy Method uses a unique combination of breath work, brain-body work, gratitude, and a clay-based program to affect the neuroplasticity of the brain in students, to help strengthen their mind-body connection, help them develop a growth mindset, and most importantly, trust and confidence in themselves. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes. One way to support the Creating Confident Learners podcast is to leave a 5-star review and written review anywhere you listen to it. Thanks so much, and let's get started. We would decrease so much heartache for a bigger percent of kids who do struggle in academics. It breaks my heart that so many kids do have major struggles through their academic path. It seems like often once a child struggles, they always struggle unless proper intervention is put in place early enough to help support and create the necessary pathways in the brain. And take the analogy of this huge freight ship. It's been going in one direction for so long that we have to make these small incremental steps to help reroute, to redirect the way that the ship's been going, or their academic path, or the trajectory that a child is on once they're starting to struggle. I've seen this over and over with 20 years of kids, that their trajectory can change. Be sure to sign up for the Foundation course. This course is here to support you, both parents and educators. It teaches the exact foundational tools I have used with students to increase focus, ease anxiety, and help raise confidence and self-esteem so that they can succeed in all areas of their lives, including academics. It's made into bite-sized digestible pieces to help you apply these tools right away. Neurodivergent kids need different tools, but the really cool thing about this is that they work for everyone, every child. And just to kind of summarize neurodivergency, we're talking about the kids kind of who have ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia, ADD, some anxiety, or even depression, so those are where we're going in the fact that it's kind of the big umbrella for where the brain is processing slightly differently. But again, the brain is developing rapidly for the first 24 years of life, where it is creating new neural pathways, and we can use processing things such as breath work, gratitude, balance work, brain work to help, strengthen brain pathways. I have a theory that if all kids in their early elementary school years were exposed to more of these types of tools that have been my go-to for the last decade or so, and they were exposed in their early years to the pre-reading tools, the brain work, I call them, we would decrease so much heartache for a bigger percent of kids who do struggle in academics. It breaks my heart that so many kids do have major struggles through their academic path. It seems like often once a child struggles, they always struggle unless proper intervention is put in place early enough to help support and create the necessary pathways in the brain. And take the analogy of this huge freight ship. It's been going in one direction for so long that we have to make these small incremental steps to help reroute, to redirect the way that the ship's been going, or their academic path, or the trajectory that a child is on once they're starting to struggle. I've seen this over and over with 20 years of kids, that their trajectory can change with the right support and right tools, and really the processing tools, but also the visual-based tools and brain work that helps. So of the tools, I'm going to pull some of the major ones and just kind of talk about them. The first one that I tend to go to, and sometimes this is just assessment work, sometimes this is ball work as well, but the balance. Can your child balance on one foot or the other? You'll notice that every time, actually, whether kids are struggling in school or not, the first time I do this, oftentimes they'll struggle and they'll flail and they'll go all over the place. But there's also some ball work where you can cross the midline standing on one foot or both feet and really help both the left and right hemisphere talk together to create better processing through the body. And the second tool that I go to is nose breathing. This is a yogic breath. It's called Nadi Shodhana. But what it actually does is it oxygenates the brain. So when the brain is more oxygenated, we can retain information better. But it also helps build more tissue in the corpus callosum, the connection of the two hemispheres, the left and right hemisphere. So we're physically changing the physiology of the brain through breath. And this one in particular has both right and left hemisphere talking and building brain tissue. I always talk to kids like, hey, when you learn something new, you get an extra wrinkle in your brain. We want really wrinkly brains. Same, we want, healthy brains through oxygen and actually creating new matter, which is so amazing, that the things that we can influence. The third tool that I think is really, really crucial for the kindergartens through second graders is symbol mastery with clay. So we're using the brain-body connection to create the symbols that we use in writing, spelling, and reading. So the numbers, the uppercase and the lowercase, and there's a whole system to really getting those into the body, into the brain properly, randomly, backwards. Oftentimes kids just know the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We assume that they know all their letters, but in the background of their reading, in their background of their spelling, they're not pulling quite the right connection of symbol and sound. The fourth tool that I've been really, really loving seeing amazing differences with how the brain is processing is tracking. And especially where there's this tracking exercises where there are letters in color, which require the left and right hemisphere to communicate smoothly. And I have seen so many children struggle with this concept. There's a huge connection of this simple exercise that takes just a couple minutes a day and how their reading, writing, and spelling is. And then I have a host of brain work tools that I go to. It's almost like the pre-reading tool. So we had balance, nose breathing, symbol mastery with clay, tracking, and then this concept of spell reading, where we're actually helping them slow down the processing of the brain, how they read letter by letter, so that kids are sweeping words left to right. They're not switching letters and words around, and really capturing a word fully in the right way. And we're slowing them down. And then from spell reading, the next tool is that I feel like all kids need is sweep reading. Again, we're slowing down the process of reading, making sure they're tracking correctly left to right. They're not switching up words. They're not switching up letters. Just recently with a kid, I do this all the time. He was switching up words like number for remember, going super slow too. Dad for had. Two more tools that I really think are important for the early years are word sorts using visual-based word patterns, where we can help them connect verse through color and visual patterns, the sound patterns. And then practicing 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week with enough practice at grade level text to become proficient. I honestly think that if kids had some or all of these brainwork tools, we would see a lot less trajectory and struggle for kids and a little bit more solid foundation for them to continue down their academic path. One student that I had, I've been mentioning him quite a bit in the last few podcast episodes. When I first met him, he could not hear sounds. When I asked for the short sounds, oftentimes I teach sounds explicitly and I'll put all the vowels up, A, E, I, O, U, and I'll ask him in isolation to tell me the sounds. It's ah, eh, ah. When I first met him, it was nonsense. It was a ooh, ah, ee, ah, 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 ah. Like nothing connected to the type of sounds that we tend to hear with the vowels, not even for that short A sound, which kids tend to master. And, he had been going through kindergarten and first grade this way, and now he hears the sounds. He is not guessing. The knowledge is there. He knows it. And I did not teach him through memorization of these sounds. I taught him through the visual-based tools, the brain work to get there, especially the word sorts, especially the tracking, spell reading, sweep reading, and breath work. So again, these tools will be outlined and demonstrated and taught for all you parents in the Creating Confident Learners visual-based reading program coming out in the fall. But really, the coolest thing that I've noticed, and I noticed this is actually what started the Deproxy method when I first started with these tools. I had two boys who were very, very far behind their peers. They were testing in the lowest percentile of 2 grades below where they were at. And so I really had to go searching for new new tools and new ways of being. After I homeschooled them for a couple years, the new kids that I tutored and taught and homeschooled from then on, I started throwing these things in slowly to them, and then just noticing that even if kids were not struggling so severely, they benefited from them as well. And so it's really, when we're teaching, good teaching practices get to every single child, and we're just giving them better tools, more tools in their toolbox that they can pull from. So being a master learner, being a master of your own learning, really has to do with understanding if you understand something or if you don't, and which tools you need to get from point A to B. So all of these tools, especially the brain work stuff, the processing stuff, the balance, the breath work, these are the things that help all children. If we could get this exposed, these ideas exposed to all the elementary school kids, I know we would have a smaller percentage in the amount of kids who struggle later on in their academic career. We're talking mid-elementary, late elementary, middle school. Be sure to sign up for the foundation course. This course is here to support you. It teaches the exact foundational tools I have used with students to ease anxiety and help raise confidence and self-esteem so that they can succeed in all areas of their lives, including academics. It's available as a one-time purchase or as an ongoing monthly subscription with extra group support and monthly live stream. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter to stay in contact. Keep up with the Creating Confident Learners community on Instagram and Facebook at Creating Confident Learners. Have a blessed day and aloha.